Hi, my name is Felina Hansen, and I am the president of the San Diego chapter of the National Association of Women Business Owners. This is our Trailblazer category. We have 5 incredible women who will be sharing their stories. They are indeed blazing a trail. These are innovative industries, new products, new services, new ideas that they've brought to market. They are rock stars. I have to tell you a secret. This is probably one of my favorite panels. Such incredible women. I know you will enjoy their stories. We are incredibly grateful to California Bank and Trust for sponsoring this award. Here's a few words from Cal Bank's customers on how the bank has been such an important resource to them through COVID.
California Bank and Trust was a great support system during this process.
My big bank couldn't get it done for me, but CB&T did.
Knowing that they got my back was a lifesaver.
They couldn't have done a better job.
California Bank and Trust has always made me feel like family.
We literally couldn't do it without California Bank and Trust.
They've made our lives easier in so many ways over the years.
When we really needed it, they were there.
I'm truly grateful for that.
Thanks again to California Bank and Trust for supporting the 2020 BRAVA Awards. And don't forget to vote. Go to bravaawards.org after you finish watching this amazing educational panel and vote for your favorite female trailblazer.
Well, hi, my name is Marilyn Bruno. The company's name is AEQUOR, which means the sea in Latin. And that was the inspiration for our company because the founder, who happens to be my daughter, discovered in the ocean novel marine microbes that produce natural antimicrobials that can replace the very toxic biocides that we're exposed to every day. And as well can be new drug candidates because we have seen that they can kill the otherwise incurable antimicrobial resistant superbugs. So it's a brand new field and we've taken a completely different approach by letting nature show us how nature cures these problems.
My name is Jasmine Sadler. I'm the visionary and CEO of the STEAM Collaborative, and I work with business leaders and young organization leaders to innovate and implement STEAM programming. So I focus in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. My background's in aerospace engineering and business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hernandez, and I am the president and sole owner of Aircrafts Heating and Air Conditioning. We are a heating and air conditioning company that services both residential and commercial. We do service, maintenance, and new installation, and a lot of air purification things going on right now, especially with COVID.
And I'm Cindy J. Lynn. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hey Social Good. We're trying to make it easier for people to create impact. So we offer a unique content and data-driven platform that's Yelp-like and helps provide consumers ways to easily shop with purpose by awarding meta rankings to socially conscious and ethical companies who give back and adopt practices. And this way we also create a targeted social good business community.
I'm Chris Givant. I'm the co-founder of Vita Compounding Pharmacy. We specialize in healthy aging and wellness, do a lot of bioidentical hormone therapy, but that's not all we do. We make customized prescription pursuant to a doctor's prescription, so there's always a doctor involved, and it's all about individualization, so we're customizing everything for you.
When my daughter came home from her first semester of master's studies in marine biology, she said she had found a natural mechanism that was inhibiting the attachment of barnacles, mussels, and algae to surfaces in contact with water. She is a scuba diver. I am a scuba diver. I look at bubbles and fishies. She looks at hypothesizing why a surface is clear of fouling, as it's called, and others were not. And I have been working at the United States State Department and happen to have just been involved with the United Nations Anti-Fouling Convention to ban the heavy metals being used on ship hulls. So when I heard that she had found a natural anti-fouling that could replace those heavy metals, I was immediately understood the commercial applications of her discovery. So my role as CEO has been to assemble the team, incorporate, I retired from the State Department when she graduated, and find the applications of the chemicals that these amazing marine microbes are producing, and seek validations from NASA and Department of Energy, Department of Agriculture, and the chemicals are absolutely more effective than any antimicrobial on the market, and also work against the superbugs. So as we know, these are the resistant forms of bacterial and fungal organisms that form a shield, and the chemicals that my daughter discovered removes the shield and allows the bad bugs to be killed very easily. So my role is the fun role. I'm not in the lab, I'm in the world trying to explain this and raise money and write checks. Finding a non-toxic remedy for these infectious diseases is critical. The 20% of the COVID deaths are from the superbug infections. We could knock them down very easily. And we have also developed a line of cleaners that actually deep clean, where if you look at what is on the shelf and do scientific comparisons, you'll see that out of 450 products being announced as disinfectants against COVID on the EPA website, only 5 actually work, and the toxic, very toxic doses. So we're finding our way to get these products launched. And of course, the FDA pathway for new drug candidates is something we're very anxious to do. We have some support coming our way, but we have to apply for grants to get down that pathway. But it's definitely the gold ring, and we will definitely try to save the world.
I actually worked in the heating and air conditioning business for 24 years for 2 companies. One of them that I had worked out for over 20 years. And I just was at a point in my life of wondering what's next. You know, this is as far as I can go. And the opportunity presented itself about this business that was for sale. So I didn't go in buying something that I didn't know anything about. I had been in the trade for quite a few years, and it's nothing I ever imagined doing in my life, and it's the best thing I've ever done in my life at the same time. Owning a business that is normally a male-dominated field, you know, I had the opportunity to buy aircrafts from the existing owner just over 4.5 years ago. And my whole goal when I did this was I wanted to treat our customers how I would want to be treated. And in service industries and things like this, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of people have had experiences where they go out and there's a lot of high pressure to purchase either services or someone going out to your home and, you know, you thought your air conditioning just needed service and then someone's telling you you got to replace this thing. That's not who we are. So what I feel like we've done differently is there is no absolute pressure whatsoever to buy anything. I don't have any commission-based employees. So they get their salary or their pay. And we just want to educate our customers and provide them with what the best solution would be for their home or for their business. We don't come out to your home with an iPad and expect that you're going to sign something on the spot. We go back to our office, we customize a proposal for you, and then we'll let you think about things and maybe get some other bids. And that's what I think that we do differently than a lot of other companies in my industry. Yeah, we've been installing a lot of air purification systems with at people's homes. And although, you know, it's not going to say that it's going to kill COVID, but it kills viruses, it kills germs, it kills, it takes out odors, dust. So that has become a very popular item for us when we're doing an installation, to go ahead and add an air purification system as well.
I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, where I grew up loving dance. That was my main thing, but my parents put me in everything. Figure skating, softball, golf, gymnastics, basketball, but the main thing that stuck with me was dance. And then also during my childhood, I realized I was pretty gifted in math and really loved it. And so I was also in like talented and gifted programs, and also weekend programs for engineering and getting that exposure to engineering. And so a lot of my formative education really came outside of the school system. So it came from my dance school, and it came from these engineering programs that I was involved in. And so now, as my company, the STEAM Collaborative, that's really what the space that I flourish in is outside of the school time. So I started my company in 2014, and it started as a math tutoring company to get kids to love math. And now it's grown into a space where I increased the number of diverse children, so all genders, all ethnicities, to pursue science, technology, engineering, and math alongside their artistic endeavors. So for me to graduate in aerospace engineering, I was on a hip hop dance team as part of it, to be able to use the left side of my brain and the right side of my brain at the same time. And so being here in San Diego, it's been an awesome experience. The STEM group and the network, the ecosystem here is pretty strong, but it's very siloed. And so my company, the STEAM Collaborative, works to bring these people together to start working collaboratively with one another. And that really came from a proposal to do a STEAM camp for students here. But then I ended up going around kind of scouting out other camps that were going on in other programs. And I realized, you know, we don't need another STEAM camp here. We need a group or an organization that can bring these STEAM leaders together. So that's what I've pioneered, is this network of leaders that love to collaborate with each other. And, you know, it's just really just an awesome experience to see some of them working together without me even, and just collaborating on their own. And so, you know, ultimately what we all care about are the children, and that they start to see themselves as engineers or see themselves as entrepreneurs. And so it's really not a competition. We're all for the same thing. We all have different skill sets, all have different backgrounds. So I encourage everyone to bring that. And so why it's innovative right now is in this space of distance learning, where children aren't going to school, especially, you know, during the summer, but, you know, not being able to go back. Even last semester, where the student that I tutor, she hasn't had a formal math education class since March. And so all of her formal math education has been from me. And it's just, you know, an innovative time where we went from being, you know, after school and maybe afterthoughts of the type of education that we provide. And now we're the primary source of the students' education right now. So when it comes to women and diversity in the STEM fields, it is very underrepresented. Some of the numbers around women in engineering is about 12% of all of the engineers. Out of 100% of engineers, 12% are women. So that's about 1 in 10. And then for me, I've become a statistic as well, because most women actually leave corporate or the formal space of engineering within 20 years. It's about 40% of women. Of the 12% already, 40% of us leave the industry because of things related to just not feeling that it's a conducive environment for us, or not feeling welcome, not being able to bring our whole selves to work. And so that's really what inspired me to focus on the children more, and so that when they're old enough to join these companies or start their own companies, that they won't be the only one in the room. And so that's really what the motivation was for me, that, you know, it's kind of hard to get adults to pursue engineering, but if I'm able to change a lot of students' lives at the same time, then they won't be the only ones in that space. And then ideally they won't leave the field when they, you know, maybe get frustrated or for other reasons. You know, it'll just be normal reasons why they would get frustrated with their job, and not because they don't feel welcome or feel part of that environment.
I'm an environmental scientist. I have worked at the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for most of my career. And even having worked at the EPA for a long time, I noticed a huge gap, which is many of us don't understand how to make an impact. And I found that myself. I had decided one day to try to find the most sustainable, compostable kitchen tall trash bags, and I spent 6 hours looking online at all the possibilities, trying to understand kind of the different methodologies. And at the end of the day, I did find 2 options that I felt was from a really good company, and also was a great sustainable choice that's also healthy for me and my family. And that's when I realized 6 hours, no one else is going to do that, especially given my own background. So that's what I wanted to do, was to create a data-driven, analytics-based platform for people. And the platform is like a Yelp of sustainable and give back businesses. But it's completely user-friendly for both consumers to identify companies and or brands and products that, and also for businesses to highlight what their social impact is. We provide meta rankings, so it's just a snapshot, and then you can choose things better and also understand what your purchase choice means and how that positive impact really creates a better planet and more safer options, like some of the things Kelly said about your indoor air pollution. There's all these little things that everyone can do, and I really believe that every one of us wants to make a positive impact. And I just want to make it super easy for people in a very data-driven and user-friendly way. So what we did was pioneer a very data-driven machine learning approach to evaluate businesses' social impact activities and practices. And we streamlined the current super labor-intensive approach of audits and self-reporting that companies have to do. And we link business practices to sustainable, ethical, and socially conscious activities, so that's easy for consumers to choose better choices and make an impact that aligns with their own values and their passion. So what we're doing is we're marrying education, shopping, and business social impact together. And at the end of the day, the reason I'm even in the space is because I believe that our health is linked to every single action we take. And so cleaning products, for sure, in your home, and are also for businesses and offices, oftentimes those are very toxic, and that's why we get a lot of allergies. And so what I want people to do is find easily those cleaning products that they use in the home, and also for businesses. There are a lot of small to medium-sized businesses who are making a positive impact by providing you that more sustainable and safe choice, but it's really hard to figure out who they are, and it's hard to figure out, you know, what the transparent information is, and that we want to fill that hole. So that's one category. There's also a lot of business services that are making really amazing impact in terms of like accounting, restaurants, and we also cover that, all kinds of consulting, and in those different sectors. And obviously then we have all the consumer packaged goods, right? So skincare, those things, clothing, sustainable fabrics, and just really trying to whittle the over 400 different types of certifications into an easy ranking, so you know that if it's gold, that you have integrity in the business. When you visit the site, it's very, I would say, consumer friendly. The platform is content rich, so we try to tell things, like you say, in a very streamlined way, so it's quick. Here are the top cleaning companies, for example, and then if you click on it, you find out You go to their story page, you find out everything about them in a snapshot. We are currently working on incorporating the shopping component, and that is something that's inherent in our platform that we want to include. We've been around for just a little over 2 years, so we spent a lot of our time developing the platform and also our assessment tool and also a lot of that data analytics. But now we just are really ready to put the shopping component in probably within the next month or so.
And I have a brilliant business partner, Deb Hubers, and we were walking on the golf course one day, and I was working at another company doing being a formulator for them in a staff farm. I'm a pharmacist, a compounding pharmacist, and I was just saying I was kind of bored. I wanted to have more of a challenge. I love the formulation, I love the R&D, I love all of that, but I wanted the business challenge. I thought I could do it differently than I'd seen it done, and that we had a message, particularly our demographic as women. Women, you know, I am my own demographic. I'm on all of the hormones, and I don't know how anyone can really function without them. So it became a passion we developed a center of excellence for education is a huge part of what we do with both the patients and doctors. And that's where I get to play a lot, and both of those are education and innovation. So I get to roll up my sleeves and play in those, and I love it. And it's kind of been our goal to get this message out. And honestly, we help the guys all the time, but our main focus is women. By virtue of what we do as a compounding pharmacy, we are asked to innovate daily. For those of you who don't know what we are, we're a state-of-the-art lab. Everything's by prescription only, and they come to us when there's not a solution out there in the world. So I think I had my biggest challenge when, genetics has been a big topic of education for physicians. At every medical conference they go to, they're getting genetics. This is really important to getting it's the blueprint to who you are. And so, which marries perfectly with what we do, customizing. So one of the things that they tested for was this genetic marker called MTHFR. And I was like, MTHFR, what? I didn't know what it was. I'd never heard of it. And they came to me and said, a doctor that's an expert in epigenetics, which is the environment you put around your genetics. Your genetics is the DNA you were given, but you're not held to that. It's really the environment you put around it. And she was convinced if we had an injectable form of methylfolate, which is just a vitamin B9, that it would mitigate all of these MTHFR mutations. Now, I thought, how important is this? It's super important because it's extremely common to have this genetic defect. Matter of fact, in the middle of my R&D of this, I just discovered I had it. Half my team has it here. So, and it manifests as depression, anxiety, high homocysteine, cardiac markers, autism, neuropathies. So it really touches a lot of people's lives. And so I went to work trying to design this, and I made it how I typically make any B vitamin, because we do make injectables here, and sent it out for analytical testing, and it failed wildly. And I'm like, okay, there's a reason it doesn't exist in the world. And so I went back to work and R&D and trying and failing and trying and failing, and getting a little bit closer every time to where we finally got it stable. And we were able to send it out then to doctors to start actually using on live patients in the trenches. We were getting amazing results. Doctors were saying literally words like, it's a miracle. Scripps Hospital reached out to us and wanted to use it in a formal depression study. And they picked the worst patient in the study who came in at a level 33 and on the Hamdy scale of depression, that's suicidal. She was a college student, she's a med student, and had to drop out of med school. Had tried everything. And they did a very conservative approach with her, a cc a week, and which we know now to be pretty conservative for somebody that mutated. And after 8 weeks of treatment, she came back at a level 11 on the Hamdy scale of depression, with 8 being normal and happy. And that's when we thought we're onto something here. And we then went through the very daunting task of trying to get a patent on it, and years and years and years and paperwork. And we recently had the patent issued, And so we have a patent on all liquid forms. So we also do of methylfolate. So we also do sublingual drops, customized strengths of that. We're known for this now, of being able to help people this way. We have published studies and peer-reviewed science journals and science-based peer-reviewed journals. We are starting other studies. We're looking to partner to get it out to the masses, because this needs to be out to the masses. I've had people tell me, I have the great joy of hearing patients tell me on a weekly basis, this has changed my life. For the first time, I can walk without pain. My child who has autism has never spoke. She's speaking now. So it's beyond heartwarming and fulfilling. It gets me up every morning, and it's why I do this every day. That's just amazing. I'm grateful. I'm blessed to be able to get to do what I do.
You can't see me, but I'm 5'2". I'm a small person. I have worked in male-dominated businesses my whole life, academia, Wall Street, stock and commodity brokerage, running around the world, to the point that I traveled with the first compact computer in the 80s. And I was stopped always at the airport by the customs guy saying, "But madame, why are you traveling with your sewing machine?" So go figure. Had great opportunities to be a pioneer in careers that women had never tread before. Even within State Department, the mere 20% of women when I entered that were employed, most were in administrative or consular roles, and I jumped at the chance of being in a policy role. Economic affairs, very rewarding. And then one of the things that I learned is critical thinking very early on, and that life is precious. You have to take risks. Life is a risk. You can't be afraid of that. And I think all my switching careers, because I've had to, I think being a single mother was the greatest innovation of my life. And I'm not sure whether she innovated me or I innovated her, but, and the fact that we're working together right now is just mind-blowing and unexpected and not planned. So my job within the company is to show her that you can have some balance and need all that terrific organization and time management that will make you able to juggle. And that's what women do. We juggle. And we have to just face this and become very good at it and work harder than men and show, hey, look what we've done in record time.
Well, I am in an industry where only 7% of females own this type of business. So, and I also took on this venture later in my life. At age 49 is when I decided I'm ready to change my life and do something different. So I agree with what Marilyn said. I've always worked hard as an employee for somebody else, and now I'm doing the same thing as my own business. So I guess, there's a lot of obstacles when you're in a male-dominated field. You, of course, have to prove yourself even more so than you would for your counterparts. But hard work will pay off, and if you just jump in and give it your all, I think the sky's the limit, and I'm seeing that right now. And so I just would like to encourage other women out there that, I'm a single lady myself as well. There's, I didn't have any support as far as that goes, and there's no regrets there. I'm just excited about where life is at. And if I can do it, anyone can do it, because it's never anything I would have imagined doing.
It's been a pleasure to be a role model to what I call my little sisters and brothers in engineering. So those who look up to me, either early entry-level engineers or those that are still in college. I have some mentees that are in Africa, and we get together through text or video chat. And so it's just an awesome experience. I don't have any younger siblings. I'm the baby in my family. So anytime I talk about my mentees, I always say my sisters and brothers. And so some people think that I have tons of sisters and brothers, but I'm like, no, anytime I say anybody younger than me, I'm really talking about, you know, the people that I've been drawn to and they've been drawn to me. And so being able to be there and give them advice as they're going through this journey of being the only one who looks like them in the room, and still being able to succeed, still being able to persevere. And then even the students that I work with that, you know, I'm trying to encourage to get into the STEAM profession. So even much, much younger, I love playing, what do you think I do for a living? And I usually get, you know, a model or, you know, TV show host or something like that. And then when I tell them I'm a rocket scientist, then it's like, what, really? And then, you know, the biggest experience when I did it with like a 4-year-old girl at Malcolm X Library, and she's, you know, the best time was when she said, well, do you think I could be one too? And so that's really, you know, just heartwarming to be a role model, you know, within minutes to a young girl.
First of all, I'm so impressed with all the other super smart women here. And I love hearing that it's definitely hard work. And so for me, I think it's about being positive and tenacious, but honest about what I don't know. So a lot of people often, once they find out what my background is, you know, ask the question of like, you know, will climate change just make the earth disappear? Or is this a problem? And for me, I just feel like, no, there's so many things we can do, because I truly believe it. And part of the reason I stepped away from government is because I believe that every single one of us can make a positive impact. It's just that that messaging never got around. And that is what I really try to focus on, so that we can be clear about what we do know, what we don't know, because I believe that when we understand what we don't know and we're listening and we're asking questions, then we can fix the problem or find solutions in a different way. For me, I think also I have 12 interns. I love working with people who want to learn about something different, just like myself. I, you know, stepped into entrepreneurship completely without a background, but just jumped in because I wanted to achieve this thing. We're sending the message to every single one of us about our own impact. And of my 12 interns, 10 are women. So I spend a lot of time showing them that, you know, yes, it's important to have a degree, but don't stop there. And if you don't, if you're the one who's not interested in going on to graduate school, that's okay, because there's plenty, if not more women and men who didn't do that, but because they're tenacious, they make it work anyways. It's about just kind of always asking the right questions and being honest about what you do know and not know. And so I just love being able to work with that, and also just learning from all the women around me, particularly, like we all said, I'm in this whole science and tech space where it's predominantly men. So I think just being okay with asking those questions and then showing up and saying, yeah, I have the knowledge, and if I don't, I will go seek it.
You know, I have the great privilege that I get to talk to a lot of women business groups. I get to talk to NABO, I get to talk to SCORE. I've done things with Felina over at Hera Hub, where I get to actually talk to a lot of entrepreneurs about wellness and balance, and that it's okay to take that time for yourself. I think women are held to a different standard. I think we think if we're not going 24/7, that we're not working hard. And I am impassioned to spread the message that you don't have to do that and still have a successful business. I get to have a lot of one-on-ones with other female business owners where I get to sit down and just take the time with them to give them the encouragement. Hey, we're going to get you feeling better again. We're going to get you back on a wellness track. She can't make decisions at a high level and run a company. How you roll, your company rolls. How you roll, your family rolls. And women, we often put ourselves last. So I preach it. I live it. I fail at times just like everybody, where I'm not taking care of myself, but I think I would be really inauthentic, and women are pretty perceptive and intuitive if I wasn't living that life. So I think I spent a lot of time with women one-on-one to get actually say it's okay. As a matter of fact, I just recently made the really tough decision, and I'm so grateful I did now, to cut my weekly hours. And you guys are all business owners, you know, it's hard to take the hands off. But my health was out of balance, I was out of balance, and so hopefully I'm walking my talk when I'm talking to these women, and I can say I'm doing it too. And trust me, you'll get way more done if you're taking care of yourself. And so I think it's a sisters helping sisters thing. You know, we're one big family, and I will always be there for any of you. And if I can help, that's what I'm trying to do all day long.
I love being in the forest, and at one point I was a budding epidemiologist, which is someone who studies insects. And I know lots of people don't like insects, but I love how insects play a role in our environment and our health. For example, lots of people know about bees and how they help pollinate, but actually there's a place for every single type of insect and how they play such an important role. So I'm an avid gardener now, trying to, you know, not be in a forest somewhere. And yeah, I just love everything about learning how insects and birds interact.
Fun fact about me is I love dressing up. So even if that means like really nicely dressing up, but also like in costume. And so I've been at Comic-Con for the past 3 years on a panel with the League of Extraordinary Scientists and Engineers. But it's just an awesome experience to be able to dress like how myself is how I feel. And then sometimes when I wear things like this, I'm like, this is the costume, but that's who I actually am, is to kind of be in cosplay. And even just like the way that I think sometimes is more like science fiction type thoughts that I have, or futuristic thoughts, or things that don't exist yet. And so the best way to kind of show people in present time what these future thoughts could look like is through like film, or even through some books or comic graphic novels or things like that. So I really love dressing up.
So wow, those stories are exciting. Mine seems a little bit more low key, but I grew up in a military family. My dad was in the Air Force, so I was born in the South in Alabama. Then I lived in Germany for 4 years when I was a kid, and then ended up in Las Vegas. So I say my formative years grew up in Las Vegas long before everyone was going to Vegas for the popular time. You know, this was in the mid 70s and stuff. So my formative years were growing up there, and then I've been here in Southern California for 35 years. I fell in love with Southern California. I love being outdoors. I work indoors every day, so I just want to be outside, walking, kayaking, whatever it is, breathing in that salt air. And just another little fact, I absolutely love music. It's on all the time. No matter where I'm at, it just brings me to that happy place. So.
Oh, wow. So I love to travel. I love to scuba dive, but one of the things that most people don't know about me is that I love to volunteer. And I've been volunteering my whole life, and it has enriched me immeasurably. So each chapter of my life, wherever I've lived, I've plunged into volunteerism. Usually using something I have just learned, turning around and teaching it or sharing it. So when I learned how to be a stock and commodity broker, I gave the first lectures to women, and that ended up with the call-in radio show and a TV show even. So that was a lot of fun. But then my career brought me somewhere else, and I was in DC, for example, and had earned a law degree and was doing volunteering at the AARP Legal Counsel for the Elderly. And then here in San Diego, I volunteered for a STEAM event. So Jasmine, I was on the bed of the aircraft carrier for a great project with high schoolers that maybe you put together. And always trying to bring students into the sciences or arts, which I also love. And right now I'm also a volunteer for the Metropolitan Opera, organizing auditions of some of the incredibly talented local singers who are going to hopefully end up on the stage of the Met someday. I just want to withdraw my nomination. I'm so impressed by everybody.
I don't accept it.
Oh yes,
I apologize.
Because
No.
I want to vote for all of them, and
There you go.
I would actually like to do business with all of them.